1 year stint.
And, 1 year, eh?
Yeah, I've just done that same year 13 times, I guess.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Dinnell with Remax West Coast and the Dinnell Real Estate Group, Richmond's Community Realtors. And I'm really excited today on episode 8 because we have Andrew Gunn, who him and his wife are the owners of Cobbs Bread at Blundell Centre here in Richmond. They bake fresh bread and treats on site, fresh every day. Now, the Gunns donate all the unsold goods to charity every day. And fun fact, well, Andrew and his wife met at Cobbs Bread Bakery back then, now 10 years ago. And now 10 years later, they've got lots of life experiences, 2 children, and they're back at the location. So tell me a little bit about that. You guys were working there as employees, and now you guys have met and become a family, and now you guys both own the place?
Yeah, that's right. It sort of just evolved itself over a period of time. And yeah, back about 10 years ago, my wife was actually running the bakery when it was owned by the corporation, and I was sort of watching over a group of bakeries, and yeah, that's sort of how we met. And here we are now. We bought the bakery again in July last year. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on the purchase. And how has business been? I guess we're during a pandemic. How's it going for you guys?
Yeah, it can be a little bit up and down, and maybe a little more unpredictable than what we're used to. But our community has supported us really well. We've obviously had to change a lot about the way we do business, as everyone else has across the board. So there's lots of precautions, and making sure that we're keeping everyone safe inside, and like for the staff and customers. But outside of that, it's been pretty good. Not too much has changed for us, outside of, doing everything different, I guess. But yeah, there's lots of positives for sure.
Well, good for you guys. And I wanted to ask you if you can tell us something interesting about yourself, Mr. Gunn.
Sure. Well, I talk a little different than some folks. So I'm actually Australian. I came to Vancouver about 13 years ago. Originally, I came for a 1-year stint. And,
1 year, eh?
Yeah, I've just done that same year 13 times, I guess. But I've been part of the Cobbs Bread family for a long time. The business originated in Australia back in 1980. So.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah. So originally Australian owned, but all the local bakeries here in Canada are owned by Canadians, or at least imported Canadians, some of them, I guess. But yeah, I've been a part of the group for about 25 years now, and the last 5 years as a franchisee. Before that, I worked in the corporate office here in Canada, in Australia, and New Zealand as well. And part of my journey there, I've been lucky enough to travel the world and bake bread in lots of different countries with lots of different people, and it's been a fascinating journey. And now we're just local small business owners doing the grind like everyone else does, and just trying to carve out a living.
Well, I was actually just in your store last week picking up a French baguette for my chili I made, which was absolutely delicious. Not my chili, your baguette. And I got a free sample of a Hawaiian pizza. You guys are doing little mini pizzas now, I see.
Totally, yeah, they're pretty good too. Yeah, they're tasty. We changed up the recipe about a year ago, and put some better toppings on top. But the base is the key. We use our Turkish bread now for the base, which is a more fermented dough, lots of flavour, but hardly any ingredients. It's only got about 4 or 5 ingredients in there. So time is the biggest thing that makes that one taste so good.
Well, your breads are absolutely delicious. Every time I go into Cobbs Bread, I just want to buy everything off the shelves because it just smells so good in there. So uh, now I wanted to also ask you, the main reason we brought you on is I read an article in the Richmond Review that you and your wife and the store are donating, unsold goods to local charities. So I wanted to ask you to kind of go in depth on what you're doing and what charities you're helping out, and how much food have you donated over the past year?
Sure, sure. It's part of the Cobbs Bread DNA, I guess is the best way to put it. It's been a practice that we've always done. It's certainly not just unique to us, but every Cobbs Bread across the globe does it. Our philosophy is freshness, so we start from scratch every single day. That's why the bakers start at 2 o'clock in the morning.
They start at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, that's right, every day. Yeah. Because it takes time to make good bread. We can't rush these things through. So in order to get it done fresh every day, we have to start super early. So, but of course, we don't want to sell everything that we make. It'd be great if we did, but it's not necessarily a good business practice. But at the same time, we have no interest in just chucking it in the bin. So at the moment, we work with about 7 or 8 different charity groups, ranging from AIDS Vancouver to the Emmanuel Church Outreach Program locally here in Richmond. I think there's 3 or 4 different churches that we help out with some products so they can distribute it through their channels. The different charity group comes at the end of every day. They pack up all the goods that we have left over, and then they take it wherever they need to go to we obviously don't have those channels to get it in the hands of the right people, but they do. So, we're more than happy to help them out with that. And just going through some numbers last week for the article, I think at the moment we're donating about $10,000 worth of product a week.
Wow, $10,000 of product a week. Wow.
Yeah, that's right. So, and obviously in these times, there's more people needing it than what anybody would really like. In some ways it would be great if we didn't have enough charities, because it means there wouldn't be that many needy people. But
yeah,
at the moment, it's some of the worst times that any of us are ever going to see. There's lots of help out there for sure, but we're really proud about the fact that we can do a little bit to help some folks out that really need it.
Well, thank you, Andrew, and your team. You're helping out a ton of people right now. Like you said, this pandemic has, we've had a lot of unfortunate situations with job loss and things like that. So for you, helping the local charities is just great. And, you guys are making Richmond very proud for what you are doing. And, that's one thing I say during the pandemic, kind of the one thing I have found that has been great that's happened is that the community has really come together and helped each other out, however that may be. But, I'm really finding a big sense of community in Richmond over the past year, and you're definitely being a big contributor to that. So thank you. Now, what motivates you to do what you do? You said a little bit about how Cobbs Bread has done this throughout time, but do you have any personal motivation for what you do?
Yeah, I think as most people, we've received some help throughout our lives, and through certain stages of whether it's career or personal development, it doesn't really matter. There's people that help you out in every sense and every stage of your life. So I suppose that we're just in the phase of our life right now where it's really important for us to continue that on. We've got 2 young kids as well, so it's you learn pretty quickly when you have little ones how important it is to just sort of pass things on. So we're pretty grateful for everyone who's always helped us. So we're just trying to make sure that we continue that cycle going on, and we've got a great opportunity in the business that we've chosen to be a part of to be able to do that. So it's certainly a big reason why we did it too, like to be able to put down some roots in the community in more ways than one, and just by being a supporter of that, then that's certainly our motivation there.
Well, that's a terrific answer. And, that's another big thing about our local shops here and businesses. We really do love to help the community. There's so many amazing businesses like yourselves doing such great things in our community. So thank you. How have you guys had to expand as a business owner and in a family during COVID?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty interesting time to be a business owner, I think. You mentioned the word community there in Richmond, and it really does have a really strong community feel. And one of the biggest things I think that's changed in the world in the last year is, the globe used to be our community in a sense, like everything was, you could fly to Japan in 9 hours, for example, right? So it's the world was so small, but now it's gone big again, so to keep connections, I think we've had to bring everything internal. And for us as business owners, it sort of forced us to look a little bit less short term and a little bit less about the right now and a little bit more about the long term, and the growth of us as business owners, the growth of our team, the growth of our community, and just really making sure that we're supporting every facet of that, I guess is not a bad way to put it. But it's taught us to be a little bit more patient with some things. And there's no point rushing. At the moment, lots of people have lots of time in some ways, but then there's no time for anything at the same time. So, it's taught us patience. It's shown us some of the things that really are important and really some of the things that are not. But we've been really lucky as well. We've had great support from our team and our community. So, we certainly, I don't think have felt it as much as what some other businesses have. So we're pretty grateful and pretty lucky for that, I think.
Well, I love that answer. I love the word that you use, patience, because as business owners, we always, want that get rich quick mentality. Everybody wants their business to grow so quickly, but at the end of the day, it is being patient. And COVID, like you said, if it's taught us anything, it's taught us that patience. We have to be patient through this pandemic, through our business. So I love that answer. Great answer, my friend. Now, my last question, which I threw out to everybody here, and you are you were planning on coming here for 1 year, but you're here for 13 years over. In your own words, what does it mean to be a Richmondite, Andrew?
Yeah, the two words that come to mind immediately would be family and connections. My wife grew up here in Richmond, and now we live 5 minutes away from them. We live 5 minutes away from the bakery. When we had our second child last year, we were still living in Vancouver, and we stayed with my wife's parents for a few weeks right out of the hospital, and we realised pretty quickly that it's not a bad thing to have that support network pretty close. So things changed for us relatively quickly from there, but moving back into Richmond, and we can walk to my in-laws' place along the dike there in 10 minutes. It's just it feels a lot more connected, and that real sense of community that Richmond has. We live in a big townhouse complex, and it's like we're all living in the same house sort of thing, but all sort of different. So it has that real family feel to it, and it just helps you stay a little more grounded and a little connected to all the things that are important, I think.
Well, you absolutely nailed it, Andrew. I love it. And you are so right. Connection and family, so important, especially during these times right now. So thank you so much, Andrew, for joining me today. And we wish you and your wife and your family and Cobbs Bread nothing but success here in 2021. And anybody watching, make sure you get down to the bakery. Try that Hawaiian pizza that I tried the other day. My sample was like this big. I couldn't even believe that was a sample. I felt guilty taking it, to be honest, but it was so good. And yeah, thanks again, and keep cooking that fresh bread, my friend, and continue giving back to our community, and I know our community thanks you big time. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Chris.